What's up, nerds? It's Pat from the Nerds You're Looking For podcast. And today I want to talk about the big controversy surrounding IGN. But before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, smash that like button. All three of those things help us out tremendously. And so, like I said, there was a huge controversy last week surrounding IGN and the review of Dead Cells. So as you would imagine, a big company like IGN that reviews pretty much every game that comes out, at least it seems like that, has a bunch of different writers on their staff. And the dillweed named Philip Mewson, who normally, I'm really bad with names. If you listen to the podcast, you know that. I normally would apologize if I mispronounced your name, but I don't particularly care if I mispronounced his name because, like I said, he's a bit of a dillweed. He played and reviewed Dead Cells, both written, and he did a video version of his review for IGN. And so obviously I'm a small YouTuber and I like to frequent IGN quite a lot. Pretty much every day I'm on there at least once a day. And I'm not the only one. Obviously, it's a huge website. And there's another small YouTuber that also frequents IGN called Boomstick Gaming, which, by the way, that's an awesome username. Not quite as cool as the nerd you're looking for, but not everybody can be the nerd you're looking for. So anyways, that's a really cool username. He was looking at IGN and he was like, hey, there's a Dead Cells review. I also reviewed that game. Let me check to see what they thought on it. And he clicks play, and it turns out it's pretty much cut and paste his review. Now, I will put a link in the video description below of his response video because I think it's important for you guys to watch it yourself because he lays the case out pretty well and it's pretty damning. Like, you watch that video and you're like, yeah, that dude totally copied it. So I checked last night before recording this video today, and his response video has over 1 million views right now. So obviously this story took off, really picked up steam, so much so that IGN had to finally respond. And their first response was essentially, we've pulled the review, we're investigating, which, by the way, the investigation should take about as long as just watching the video. You watch that his response video and you're like, okay, yeah, he for sure did it. Maybe talk to the guy and figure out why he did it, but other than that, like, he definitely for sure did it. And they, of course, did their investigation and found out, yeah, he definitely plagiarized it. They had pulled the review already, so they sent somebody else to do a review on Dead Cells so they would have a legit review on their website. Which, of course, from what I understand, the game is amazing, and so he had a lot of the similar thoughts, and he gave it a similar score, but obviously they just can't have this plagiarized review on their website. Even if they didn't re-review it, they can't have this on their website anymore. And I've heard a lot of people criticize IGN and why they didn't have more oversight. Why did they let something like this happen? And to a certain extent, I do agree with that. However, like, I think the number that I saw was 14,000. This guy, Boomstick Gaming, again, really awesome username. He had like 14,000 subscribers at the time that he posted his Dead Cells review. So, I mean, really, how would you expect an IGN level company to check every single YouTuber? Like, 14,000 is amazing, but it's nothing compared to IGN or basically any of these big YouTubers on YouTube. Like, that's not a huge number. So essentially you're asking IGN to look at every single YouTuber that posted a Dead Cells review to make sure that their Dead Cells review didn't take anything from that. So I think that's being a little too hard on IGN, but I am a big fan of IGN, so maybe I'm a little bit biased there. I actually did think that their response was pretty professional. Like, I think they made the best out of a really bad situation. As soon as they found out, they pulled the review, they investigated, they gave the guy, from what I understand, a chance to kind of lay out his case that he didn't do it. They, of course, I mean, they watched the same video that I watched. He for sure did it. They fired him, and then they re-reviewed it. So I think as a company, They were put in a really shitty situation, and I think that they did their best to make the best out of a really shitty situation. So I applaud them for their handling of this. Hopefully this will kind of open their eyes and they won't let this same type of thing happen again. But again, I don't know how exactly somebody would expect them to stop this from happening. Other than the fact that now the people that work for IGN know that you're going to get fired and you're going to get embarrassed because people love IGN and they will start scouring these reviews to make sure that nobody's ripping them off. Now on to Philip. So the guy that actually plagiarized the review. So of course, as the internet goes, and this is kind of how it works, they went back and looked at some of his reviews even before he was with IGN. And there was one, I believe it was FIFA 18, where people are seeing a lot of similarities between his review, and I believe it was a Nintendo Life. Correct me in the comments below, but I think it was Nintendo Life. I didn't actually watch the videos, like I didn't watch like the comparison videos, but I'll be real honest with you, I don't need to watch those videos, because a person, if they're going to work for a big company like IGN and they're willing to risk plagiarizing somebody else's content for a big website that you have all of these eyes on you, there's no way that this is the first time this guy has done this. And the responses got so bad that of course eventually he had to put out his own response video. And I'm paraphrasing again, but essentially he summed it up as, like, he does a lot of research for his reviews. He likes to look at what other people are saying about the particular game that he's reviewing, and then he uses that to kind of shape his review. Which, even if I could believe that that's legit, which I don't, by the way, it doesn't make any sense. So Tyler and I, my co-host from the podcast The Nerd You're Looking For, which I'll of course leave a link in the video description if you want to check it out, we review a lot of TV and movies. And we have talked about this a lot on the podcast before. We take the responsibility of reviewing movies and TV very seriously. Like, we have a decent following on the podcast. We're trying to grow on YouTube, but we've been doing the podcast thing for a while, and we have a decent following. And there's a lot of people that come week in and week out to listen to our reviews of these movies and TV shows. And we take that responsibility very seriously. Like, people are taking time out of their week every week to listen to what we have to say about something. So we want to make sure that it's our thoughts. Like, even if you don't intend to plagiarize, if you look at other people's reviews, that information is going to affect you, whether or not you like it or not. And I never want anybody to get fired, but this guy deserved to get fired. Let's be honest, like, the field that he's in, plagiarism has to be absolutely taken seriously, and there has to be real repercussions when you do something like this. But that being said, I really hope that he lands on his feet. Like, I mean, that sucks. Being out of work sucks, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So of course I hope that he recovers, but most importantly, I hope that he learns from this, and then if he does get a job, another job in this field, that he learns from this and he builds on this experience. Obviously, it's a horrible experience, but hopefully he lands on his feet, because I never want to see somebody like their life ruined because of something like this. And if there's any silver lining in this entire situation, it's the fact that a small YouTuber that obviously has grinded and does what he does really, really well in Boomstick Gaming has really, really grown. Like I said, there was over 1 million views on his response video. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he has almost 70,000 subscribers now. So his channel has just blown up, and that's amazing, because it seems like he's been grinding for a while and he really puts a lot of effort and passion into what he does. And so I really think that that's amazing. Like, if one good thing has happened out of this entire situation, it's the fact that a guy like that now has a bigger audience and kind of share his thoughts on games and his channel and his hobby to a larger audience. So if you're listening, IGN, feel free to rip off my review, because I could use all the help I can get blowing this channel up. So thank you. But of course, that's just my humble opinion. If you nerds have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it in the comment section below. And as always, I will put all the links to everything else that we do, including the podcast, The Nerd You're Looking For, in the video description below. For Patrick Kuhn, I am the nerd you're looking for. Take it easy, nerds.